So the concept behind Anthros was essentially down to what people recognize when they look around. Just typical human behavior. It's instinctive to look into clouds, for example, and see a human face, because that's just the way our mind works. We seek out human behavior and anthropomorphize all of these I guess, images and actions, behaviors all around us. So with creating this piece, I wanted to create something that behaved in an intrinsically human way by using emergence, which is essentially a system of utilizing extremely simple components brought together in an aggregate fashion to create something that's much greater than the sum of its components. And so with this emergent behavior, I found people were actually beginning to anthropomorphize their surroundings and respond to this extremely synthetic construction in a very organic and natural way. Sort of around resolving the concept right off the bat, there was a lot of difficulty in trying to decide about the balance between the organic and the synthetic, and trying to find a point of balance where they really worked well together and were really symbiotic. And so that was a little bit difficult right off the bat. I was pretty amused by it. I found it really interesting. A lot of people were behaving in very different ways, which really represents a lot about who they are. I found that people's behavior around the piece was something of an inkblot test. People saw in the piece what they saw in themselves. So some people would be extremely frightened by them if it started bending towards them, and some people would say, "Oh, it loves me," and they'd reach over and hug it. And so that was really interesting to me, especially young kids running around when they're always the best audience for this sort of work. And so seeing them actually running around and behaving in the way that they did as these things reacted to them, and them feeding back and reacting off of Anthros. As of the time of completion, right after I installed it pretty much, I already had started breaking down things that I didn't like about it or needed a future version. I guess as with any art piece, it's never considered to be really quite fully finished. So I've got a number of changes in mind for future installations and future projects. A few of them being making them more portable so they can be installed anywhere in a park, for instance, and really getting over some of the technical limitations, budgetary constraints of this particular project. So I mean, there's plenty of a future for it, and I really like how this, as a sort of a sampler for how people are going to behave with the piece, I thought it was a great starting point, and there's a lot more to be done.